Welcome to The Other Side, Mississippi Today's political podcast. I'm Jeff Pender, joined here today with my colleague, Debna Bose, our education reporter. Debna, hello.
Hi.
Good to have you here. And we have a special guest today joining us in our relatively new studio here in downtown Jackson. Man at the center of the storm recently, I guess you could say.
You say that.
We have Senate Chairman of Education, Dennis DeBar. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And you serve District 43, George, Greene, and Wayne counties.
Correct.
And you're from Leakesville. And as I recall, did a brief stint in the House, but it appears you recovered from that.
Yeah, I was one too many lawyers, so I was the odd man out. They said, get out of here.
Okay.
So.
In the House from 2012 to 2015, in the Senate since 2016 to present. And as I said, chairman of the Education Committee, which really hasn't had much going on this session.
This
correct?
session, yeah, it's hard to believe anything else is actually happening besides education right now. We came out of the gate first day, 3 bills
Right.
out of committee. The next day, we passed them off the floor and sent them to the House. So awaiting hopefully positive reaction and passage down there, and we can continue moving education forward.
Yeah. I don't see where anything could go wrong with that.
I don't see any hiccups at all.
Okay. Well, obviously, school choice, the big debate this session already. The House coming out with its omnibus or ominous, maybe from depending on your point of view, big bill where they're trying to push more universal school choice. And I guess we'll jump right into it. You and the Lieutenant Governor very early on said you were not interested in that universal choice, particularly in the public money vouchers for
Right.
private schools.
Correct. I mean, from the very beginning, I think Lieutenant Governor and I both reflect the will of the committee, and I think the will of the Senate, to be honest with you, that at this point, even though House Bill 2 has some positive aspects to it, the fact that there's vouchers including in it is a non-starter, and that is the belief of the committee, I believe, in talking to them at this point. But you never know. I'm going to bring up House Bill 2 at some point and let the committee have its way and its will, and we'll go from there.
Speaking of, what do you think the future of House Bill 2 will be in the committee? And if you plan to kill it, what parts of it do you plan to keep?
Well, I don't plan to kill anything. I don't tell my senators, my colleagues, how they should vote. I don't believe Lieutenant Governor does that either. Parts of House Bill 2 are good. We're going to have a meeting tomorrow in education, and a lot of the things that are in House Bill 2, we're going to take up tomorrow. Adolescent literacy. We've already passed a teacher and teacher assistant pay raise. You're going to see a math type gate as well, school attendance officers, consolidation type legislation as well. So, what we believe in the Senate is if the issue is so important, then it needs to be a standalone bill. And so our senators, our committee is going to have the opportunity to vote on those tomorrow and then before the deadline. So when House Bill 2 does come up, I don't know when that's going to be yet. I don't think it's been referred to education as of the taping of this, but I'm assuming it's going to education, and then we want to get through our Senate bills first, and then we'll take a look at House Bill 2, and the committee will decide what it wants to do with it.
This you're a Republican in the Republican supermajority in the Senate and in the legislature, for that matter. This has divided a lot of Republicans. This issue of universal school choice. Why do you believe your senators are opposed to this? What's the key issue here?
Well, I think at least I can speak for myself and just what I'm hearing from my colleagues is that we have school choice. We have school choice for military. We passed a portability bill. Teachers can go to different districts and take their kids with them. So we have choice. You can homeschool if you want to. You can go to private school if you want to. What I think is the major hiccup, and no one seems to talk about, is Section 208 of the Mississippi Constitution, and it says no public money shall go to non-free schools. And so when they say the House says they have an education scholarship account, that's a voucher. It's a voucher without accountability, and so what we believe is there has to be some type of accountability. It has to pass constitutional muster first off, and I don't think that has been addressed. It's not been addressed by the courts. They had an opportunity to do that a few years ago, but they dismissed the case for lack of, I think it was juror standing,
Right,
if I remember correctly. And so, at some point, if vouchers does get passed, it'll be brought up in the court system. 2 years later, it'll be resolved by the Mississippi Supreme Court. So why not address the constitutional issue now? And I don't think that's been done. But the other issues I have with it, the fiscal impact on our budget. We're looking at our base student costs, basically what the state spends per student is roughly $7,000 this year. And if you just took all the current private school students and the homeschool students, that's roughly about 60,000. So we're talking a $400 million impact of reoccurring revenue. And that doesn't include the students that would leave public school to go to private school, which we think the impact would be small regardless. But still, that's $400 million.
And way more than the estimate the House has given us.
I think the House has scaled it back to allow, I think, 12,500 students this year, roughly.
Right.
So it's only about $85 million impact only, I guess. The last is, no accountability. I mean, we talk about ESAs. We talk about if a parent receives money to send their child to a special needs school, there's accountability. There's reports made so we can see how that money's spent. And, if we send the money to, private schools, have no accountability, I just don't think that's what we want. I don't want to be held responsible for another TANF scandal, but on a greater scale, to be honest with you. And so, but I don't think the private schools want it either. They don't want to have the state sticking their nose in their business, which I fully understand. And so I think that's kind of where we're at this point.
I think it's kind of into a hot topic of, and you have your constituency back home. Who is for this? Who is against it? From what you've seen.
Well, from what I've seen in my district, not too many people are for it. And I think based on my conversation with my colleagues, not too many people in other districts are for it either. And so I raised this in a previous interview. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know if this is an in-state thing or an out-of-state push, but very few people in my district have asked me about it. They're concerned about their property taxes, their health insurance, their car tag costs. They're concerned about inflation increasing and how they're going to pay for their groceries. That's what they're concerned about.
Can you talk at all about what kind of charter school policy you're going to put forth this year? I know they're also a player in this.
Well, yeah, as you probably know, I've been kind of hard on the charter schools and the board recently because they're not performing that we want to see them like we want to see them. And so I'm not sure exactly. I don't look at expansion of charter schools occurring this year because I don't want to put more schools out there that are poor performing. I'd like to see something done with districts that are repeatedly DNF districts, whether that's revoking their charter or put them under their MDE, doing with a charter authorizer board, things like that, which I don't know I could get that through my chamber, to be honest with you, but that's kind of where I'm thinking at this point.
I've seen some people raise the question of whatever charter policy you have, DNF, schools or districts or whatever the policy is. Some other states provide them with resources for capital projects, for building schools and such. What's your thought on that? Is that a fair argument that?
I think, and I've talked to their director of the authorizer board frequently, and I've advised her that if there's anything that you need, please let me know. And if it's something that's feasible and doable, I will definitely push for it. I know there's several vacant buildings here for JPS that maybe they could be used by authorizer boards. And I think all they have to do is come to an agreement to do so. And so um, I think that's an option for some of the schools here in the Jackson area. But if it's providing more maintenance costs or money to help these charter schools, I'm okay with it if we can show they have proven results and it's going to impact the results. And I think that can be shown with a lot of DNF districts in our state. I think a lot of um, you know districts that are DNFs have issues with their buildings and so forth. That some studies have shown that if we would just fix the buildings, provide a proper atmosphere for learning, then that would help them as well. So, there's some evidence to support that.
I was kind of wondering if you might explain a bill I saw that I think you authored. I believe it has to do with public school transfers, that students who transfer from failing districts, they would get an extra kind of amount of appropriated. Can you talk about that a little bit more and
Well,
where that's coming
yeah,
from?
sure, yeah, it's something that Lieutenant Governor and I talked about in the fall. Is we have we have some, I won't say a lot, uh, F district schools that are been Fs for multiple years. Some of them are under state control, and so they're not getting better. And so, how can we provide them a better opportunity to learn? And so we're not losing a generation of students. And so, not only the intention of the bill was to provide not only the base student cost, the 7,000, but any funds necessary to allow them to, I guess, transfer to a different public school. Transportation costs. We spend roughly 12,000 per student, including federal money. So why not give them some extra money to allow them to transfer to another public school? Because otherwise they're going to be trapped where they're at, and that's not doing them any good. And so it's just repeating the cycle. And so it really concerned me and the lieutenant governor that we've got F districts, F schools under state control that are not doing better. And so we want to try to help them as much as we can.
You mentioned that y'all have a bill. The other major education topic, it would appear, is a teacher pay raise.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all introduced a $2,000 teacher pay raise, but when you introduced it, you said you plan to work towards more. Do you believe there could be a larger raise in the offing?
I certainly hope so. I'm kind of hoping this is kind of a repeat of 2022 when you had the teacher pay raise. We started out well below 5,000, and we got up to that roughly my average amount. I think we have some money. We've already appropriated or obligated $500 million for PERS, and so that knocks us down to about $1 billion. But I know there's other expenses like Medicaid is going to be a big expense this year, and some of the things we're doing in education are going to cost more money as well, and that's not to exclude all the other stuff. So, and I was talking about that today with my appropriations chairman, is how we looking towards increasing this amount. So, and so the Senate Bill 2001 not only includes teachers and teacher assistants, but also includes professors, college professors, and associate professors, and all of them, or at least that's the intention. And Senator Nicole Boyd is working on making that happen. So we're hoping so. We're optimistic that the House wants to pass a teacher pay raise. And so we'll just wait until we get near the end of the session to see what shakes out.
We've had some people when it comes to a teacher pay raise question. If I understand correctly, this would be at least starting out outside of the formula.
That's correct. And the way our legislative budget office has always explained it to me is the first year we make sure it's a line item appropriation. That way the money we knows will go towards the teacher pay raises. And then the next year it's folded into the formula. That way it's all one slumps, because you can't reduce teacher salaries. after you've given them raises. So we make sure the raises occur, then fold the money into the formula the following year.
And I've also seen some people question recently on a teacher pay raise. There's a potential for wealthier, more well-off districts. There's a potential for the rich to get richer, so to speak, with the teacher pay raise. All things else being, well, not equal, maybe
Right.
unequal. But is there any way to provide parity when you do a teacher pay raise? Potentially some wealthy districts that can already
Right.
afford stipends or what, there's a potential they can say, we're just going to give our folks a tax cut with this pay raise money.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why we provide the opportunity for local supplements by each school district. You know, they can they're authorized up to 55 mills every year, and not all of the districts are up there at 55 at this point. A lot of them are at 20 or roughly or so. Some are, 30 and 40, but my vast majority, I think, are on the lower end. But that brings the question: is okay. So if you're a poor district without a tax base, what's raising your taxes up to 55 mils going to do, really?
Right.
And so it's a difficult question to answer. I think it's going to take more than just looking at it over a few months. It's going to have to be sitting down and maybe asking peer or somebody to come back and provide us a comprehensive study as how we can attract more teachers to poorer districts, like the
Right.
Delta and so forth. Because with all these data centers coming in, AWS and so forth, you're going to have some very wealthy districts that can provide
Get
a
wealthier.
very
Yeah.
high salary, and you could be taking teachers from private schools with the amount of money that they could be offering for salary. So yeah,
Now, I'm assuming it would probably not be too popular to say, okay, we're going to scale that to, these districts. You're kind of on your own on a pay raise.
I think at this point that's to be a good assumption. Yes.
Kind of talking about those discrepancies between districts. I mean, what is the chamber's stance on consolidations? What is that going to look like? I think I saw something about a commission. There's a bill to
Yeah.
establish a commission.
That's correct. Well, there's a commission already at the Department of Education. We're just going to expand their authority or their direction to go ahead and provide us in the legislature, how can we consolidate schools in a manner that doesn't really cause too much chaos, because whether it's, just administrative functions or districts itself, looking at intra-district consolidation, inter-district consolidation, and providing us a report, I think starting in 2 years, how we can go ahead and reduce some of the costs that districts do face.
Have you seen momentum change on that? I mean, consolidation over the past 30 years or so has been a very, very difficult sell.
It has. I think it's the arguments against consolidation are, well, it's a local issue. We at the state level provide funding based on the student population. We send money where the students are, and the locals will decide. That's what they elect school boards for, to make decisions on consolidations and inter and intra. So, but then again, we have 140 plus school districts, including charter schools, only 82 counties. So that we have some districts graduating 20 students every year. So is that feasible to maintain? So that's what hopefully this bill, which we're going to bring up probably tomorrow, will show is, hey, can the department provide us some information on consolidation?
Look, really, I know we're running low on time here, and I want to go back with a question on the universal school choice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this has got the attention of the White House. The Trump administration is pushing for school choice, has its own things at the federal level. At this point, do you know, has the White House been reaching out to senators or state lawmakers that you know of?
I've not been contacted. I feel confident that senators or lieutenant governor or whoever, if they're not been contacted already, maybe in the future. I mean, I think this is an issue that the president is really pushing and would like to see it here in Mississippi, but it's going to be a tough road to hoe for them, I believe, based on what I hear from my colleagues.
Sure. Well, we really appreciate you giving us an update here today, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more to come, and we'd like to extract a promise to come give us further updates as it moves along.
This wasn't too painful. I'll come back anytime.
Okay, sure. Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me. I'm glad you guys have your new studio. This is nice. I haven't told you Happy New Year. I know we're near the end of January already, or getting close.
Right.
Feels like we've almost hit 90 days and our session is busy. What have we been?
It's been off to a rollicking start.
But I appreciate what you do, trying to get information out there. Both of you guys are doing a good job, and just treat me nice and make me sound smart. That's all I ask.
Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe and hit the like button, and go to MississippiToday.org for more news.